Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the last lesson of this series one. So, in this lesson, you are going to learn another technique of 3D modeling. So, basically, like as I mentioned in the earlier lessons, there are three different type of 3D modeling. One is solid modeling, second one is surface, and another one is freeform. So, freeform is nothing but digital clay. I hope everyone have played with clay in your childhood. So here you have a digital clay, but here, whatever we are going to create that as per the dimension and considering all the design aspects. So this free form, technically we call it as organic modeling or T-spline technology or free form. On a simple language, we can call it as a digital clay. So here we are going to explore that freeform modeling in this particular exercise, which is very, very useful for your future product design purpose, right? So nowadays, the technology in manufacturing sector, it has been improved a lot. And so nowadays we have so many instruments or machines available to manufacture, whether it is additive manufacturing or subtractive manufacturing. So basically, hope you have all explored this 3D printer technology, all that. So basically, all these machines can is capable to manufacture any shape. There is no limitation in terms of that. But how that those machines does not understand any human language, it will understand only the 3D model. When a 3D printer can print any shape, so why we need to have a technology which will help you to provide you all the possibilities to create the different shapes that you can bring your ideas on the digital screen, which can be manufactured. So that's the reason here we have a free-form technology. On Fusion 360, here you can find the icon available on your design screen inside the create form. So once you select create form, software will take you to the different user interface where you can find all the different toolbars. So this particular module where you will get all the tools relevant to the freeform design. But once after that, here you have an icon to exit from freeform. That means basically this freeform is all about creating the shape. Once after completing, you are supposed to go back to your 3D modeling environment. So this free form doesn't have any thickness, doesn't have any material. It is just a shape. Once after creating the shape, you can exit from free form to convert that into a solid model or surface model. So how it works? This is quite very, very simple. For example, here you can see inside the create, you have all the options like solid modeling available like a box, plane, cylinder, square, torus, everything. And you also have an option to create extrude, revolve, sweep, loft, converting your 2D sketch into a 3D model. Every single option available at the same time, it is also important to understand. If you notice in every single shape, there are many sections are available. So these sections will help you to edit the model very easily. So you can select individual face, edge, vertices, or point to create the shape. So that is the advantage of freeform. So now I'm going to start with a simple box. Okay. So the purpose, I want to design a mouse. I want to create the mouse shape using this box. Okay. How easy it is. I'm going to select box. So same like 3D modeling. Again, everything you can find it on your tooltip. It is asking select the plane to create the box. I'm going to select this bottom plane. Then it is asking specify the center for the box. This is the center. Then it is asking for the dimension. You can type the dimension or you can just click anywhere. Software will open the dialog box. Here also you can input the dimension. So length of this box, let me give it as um, about, I can say 50. Okay. And width, I gave it as about 100. Or maybe length, I will change it to 70. Let's make little bigger. Okay. And the height, width height, I give it as 15, 1, 5. Okay. So this is just a simple rectangle box. And here you can notice there is no sharp corner. Everything is round because as I mentioned, this is a T-spline technology, which will ensure a tangential connection between all the faces or the edges. So all the edges are smooth here. There is no sharp corner, right? And then just below this length, width, and height, you can also notice the length phase, width phase, and the height phase. By default, everything it is showing two phase. Length I have two phase, width I have two phase, and the height is also two phase. I want to increase the width phase here to 4. You can notice here. So there are four faces in the width, two faces in the length and width, height. So once after that, I can select OK. Now you can notice software will allow me to select either face, edge, or the vertices point to edit. Now to create a simple mouse, so just consider this as the front portion of the mouse. This is the rear portion of the mouse. Obviously, the rear portion of the mouse, I want to create bulge so that I can hold it properly. So I'm selecting these two face using my shift key. And then on the top, I can select modify, edit form, or I can right click the mouse. Here also I can access edit form at the short key. Once after we select edit form, you can notice software is giving icon here. So where you can find 3 arrows. So you can stretch the selected face in 3 different directions. You can find 3 circles, which will help you to rotate the selected face in 3 different axes. You can rotate. And you can notice the small arc here, which will help you to increase or decrease the scale. So arrow is to stretch, circle to rotate, and the small arc to change the scale. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this arrow towards vertical direction to stretch. I'm going to stretch this towards top. You can notice here. It's quite very simple, right? Very easy. So I'm selecting this two face, stretching towards top. Again, as I mentioned, everything I create, I can create with a proper dimension. Even if I'm stretching this, I can provide the stretch value. So this I give it as 15, 1, 5, right? And the next step, I want to reduce this front height. I don't want so much thickness here. So what I'm going to do, I will select only these two edges, edit form. This one I'm going to reduce. I make it towards down, bring it towards down. So this I'm moving towards opposite direction of the arrow. So I give it as -5. And hope you have noticed mouse at the front, it will be round. It is not flat. So what I'm going to do, I select these two edges, right click, edit form. I'm going to stretch only these two edges towards front. Just like any digital play, you can notice software is moving this towards front. I make it as 20. Now this particular portion is round. Okay. Now the next step, if you look at this side view, you can see the curve here. So this is not the way what our finger we use. So I want to make it proper slope so that I can have a grip exactly on my finger. So I need to make sure this is not in this kind of curve. I want to make it convex curve. So what I'm going to do, I will select these two face. Okay, edit form. So moving this to the right view. So what I will do, using this circle, I can rotate the face. Can you see now? Right? So I just have to make it almost a tangent here. The angle is -20 and I can select OK. And the next step, while creating this, so it is also important, I hope you have noticed. So the place where exactly you keep your thumb, so you need to have some depth so that you can have a proper grip. So I'm going to select this point, right click mouse, edit form, only this particular point. I'm going to push it inside. You can notice here, only this portion I'm pushing this inside. As it is going in the negative direction, I give it as -15. This is a simple mouse, okay, which doesn't have any scope for scroll or anything. So I just created a very simple mouse shape, right? And as a product designer, so I want to have multiple instances so that I can explore which one is the best in my case. So what I'm going to do, I'm sorry, I will select this body. Okay, inside the browser, you can open this body folder. So the only one body which you have created, body one. So you can select that. You can use Control C, Control V to copy paste. So I'm just going to use Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Once after I paste, software is asking where to move this second instance. I'm just moving this right side. So I have two different model of this mouse in the same file. Okay. So the second instance, I want to have a place where I can fix the scroll. Okay. So this first mouse, this is a plain mouse. So the second one, what I'm going to create with a scroll. Okay. So what I will do is I will just need to add additional edge so that I can remove the material here. So these faces are too big. I want to add the additional material. So what I can do inside modify, I have lot of tools available here to make my freeform very what to say complicated shape which we can create. So now I'm going to select insert edge so that I can add the additional edges. Insert edge. I'm going to select these two. Okay. I want to create on both the side and the scale. So this is nothing but the scale. If I say 0.5, it creates exactly half of this face. So I just want this as zero point 0.2. Okay. So, and here you can select one side or both the side. So insertion side, make sure this is both. Once you select both, okay, so you can see the software is going to divide both the side faces with the scale 0.2, and you can select okay, right? At the same time, again, I use this insert edge. I'm going to insert these two edge, scale both the sides, scale I give it as just 0.1, right? Now after creating this, so I've created new faces. So using this new face, what I'm going to do, I will select all these four face at the center. I'm just using the delete button to remove that particular face. Can you see now? As I mentioned earlier, so freeform doesn't have any thickness. You can notice here, there is no thickness, right? And this is completely hollow. There is no material also. And so the first instance, what I have created mouse, this is completely a covered loop. And here the second instance, I have a gap here to insert the scroll. So I've created two different mouse within few minutes. Then after creating this, I'm using this finish form icon to go back to my 3D solid. Once I click on this finish form, so what will happen? You can notice the closed loop, what I have created, that has been turned to a solid body. You can notice this icon here. And the one which I have created with the open loop here, so that has been created as a surface. So one is solid and another one is surface here. And it is very easy. For example, this surface, if I want to convert it into a solid also, you can add thickness to your surface inside the create. You can select thicken, select the surface body, and you can specify thickness. I give this thickness as 1 millimeter and I can select OK. So now both are solid. One is this the closed loop. This is complete solid. And this is a hollow structure where you have 1 millimeter thickness on the surface. So quite very simple. Within few seconds, I have created this particular model, right? And the same thing, if you want to manufacture, execute the same thing, you can right click, you can export it as a HTML file and you can start 3D printing on your machine. At the same time, if you want to make it like you want to split it into multiple parts, for example. So this one I want to 3D print. This cannot be 3D printed in one go because I'm supposed to insert a lot of instruments inside this. So the PCB, scroll, everything I need to insert here, opticals, everything. So what I can do, In the previous exercise we have seen using offset plane. I'm going to use the offset plane, this particular bottom plane. I will offset this. This whole total height is about 25. So I'm going to offset this plane distance. I will give it as 7. Okay. So I've created new plane with the distance 7. And here using split body, this is the body I'm going to split. Okay. Splitting tool, I will select the new plane which I have created, this plane 1 with the offset distance 7 what we have given. You can notice here, software is highlighting the cutting plane and I can select OK. Now we can notice there are 3 body. So body 1 is this one. So let me just turn it off. Okay. So this is body 3 and body 4. If I turn off body 4, can you see this is the bottom portion of the mouse? I can turn it off and turn off the body 3. So this is top portion of the same mouse. As I mentioned, quite very simple individual body. I can just save it as STL file, which I can export it into my or import it in any of my 3D printer application and I can 3D print the same. So very quick, very easy. You are going to create the different shape too, which can be executed, which can be created as a 3D model, right? So quite very simple. This is the beauty of Fusion 360 using free-form modeling. This is quite very, very easy and the basic thing what I have shown. And just imagine you are supposed to design a car model, or any concept car, aeroplane design, or anything. It's like a drone or something. So this freeform feature will give you complete control on your 3D modeling techniques and bring all your creativity on the digital screen, right? So in the advanced class, we are going to see how to design a car model something. But before that, I would like you to practice some of the main features of this freeform modeling. So I'm going to highlight one more simple exercise, that is, I'm going to create a headphone. That is my favorite exercise because it covers a lot of the features and also it gives complete insight of this freeform modeling. So I'm going to design a headphone. How easy it is, you can also notice. So the first thing, I go to the create form. Inside this create form, same for the headphone also, I'm going to start with the box. I'm going to select the side plane and I create a box with the size 50 by 50. Okay. So 50 by 50 is the box size. And the height, I give it as 15, 1, 5. And the number of faces that you can change, 2, 2, and 2. I will change the number of faces. You can notice here. So size is 50 by 50 by 15. So all the faces equal to face I have given, then I can select OK. So hope you have already noticed there is no headphone we have seen in a square shape. I want to make it round. So how we are going to make it round? So just imagine you have a digital, so you have a clay in your hand. So either you can push this portion inside both the side, so it will turn to round, or you can pull this portion outside so that it can turn round. So both the way. But when I'm going to make it round, it is also important to understand it should be symmetrical, right? If I'm going to make it round, so top and bottom distance what you are going to stretch, left and right what you are going to stretch should be symmetrical. So this is the best part with Fusion 360 freeform. Before you edit, you can make components symmetrical so that the changes will happen on both the side. So that will save about 80% of your time. For example, if you are designing a car body, left and right almost it is same. So you don't have to edit 2 times. While editing 2 times, sometimes you might miss the dimension or something. And selection, for example, here it is only 4 faces. Imagine you have 20, 30 faces to edit. So selection will take a lot of time. So this symmetry function will give you very good control by the time of creating the design. So going to symmetry, I'm going to select this top face and bottom face. Now you can notice there is a green line here. This represents a symmetrical line. So now the top and bottom are symmetrical. At the same time, again symmetry, I select left and right. You can see the vertical green line. So that represent left and right faces are symmetrical. Now we can notice if I select this edge, can you see the opposite edge is also got selected already? That is because left and right are symmetrical. And the bottom two edges is also already highlighted. That is because top and bottom faces are also symmetrical, right? So now I'm going to edit this particular top two edges. I'm selecting these two, right click, edit form. I'm going to stretch this using the arrow towards top. The distance I give it as 10. You can notice the same thing is going to change at the bottom side also, right? And now I'm going to select these two edges in the horizontal direction, edit form. Stretching this, now you can, I'm giving the same distance as 10. So now you can see this is completely a circular face. It is no more square, it is in a circular shape. Okay. Now, just imagine you have designed the car. So now you are supposed to design the steering part. So steering cannot be on the both the side, right? At some part we have to stop using symmetry. So after creating all this inside the symmetry, here I have an option, clear symmetry. Selecting this, I can just select OK. So software will remove the symmetry function. There is no more green lines visible here. Okay. So the next step, adding additional thickness here so that I can insert the speaker. So to add additional thickness, I can select all these four face and I can just stretch it out. But problem is it becomes a huge cylinder only. So what I want to do, first I want to reduce this face scale. Okay. After reducing the face scale, that only reduced portion I want to add thickness. To reduce the scale, I hope you have already seen. If I select all these four face, right click, edit form, you can notice here the small arc. This arc will help me to reduce the scale, right? But if I reduce the scale, you can notice the whole headphone shape is going to change. I don't want to change the shape, but I want to reduce the scale so that I can have a new face to add the thickness. Getting my point? I don't want to change the shape. I want to create a new face which will help me to add thickness. To add the face, what we can do, same procedure, edit form. I have to use the same arc to reduce the scale. But before that, I just have to press and hold Alt key on my keyboard. I just have to press and hold Alt key. Then if I change the scale, you can notice software is not changing anything here. It is only adding a new face with the scale. That scale I give it as 0.8. Clear? So using Alt key, I'm reducing the scale. So what happened as I'm using Alt key, while editing, software retained the existing shape, but it has added the new face. So Alt key will help you to add additional face or add thickness. Again, edit form. Now I'm going to stretch. If I stretch this simply, you can notice the whole thing is going to change. I don't want that. Again, while stretching, I'm going to press and hold the Alt key. On my keyboard, I'm press and holding Alt key. Now I'm going to stretch. You can notice software will not change the existing, but it is going to add additional face. So that is minus 10 as it is moving towards opposite direction of this arrow. So that is minus 10. So just simple, same scale and arrow, but I'm using Alt key when I'm supposed to add the thickness. So I will repeat this function again. Edit form. Now again, I'm press and holding the Alt key. I will reduce the scale using this arc. Again, the scale is 0.8. Okay. And with the same new scale face, using Alt key, again, I'm going to stretch it outside to give additional minus 10 distance. So whenever you are supposed to change the shape, don't use Alt key. Okay. Whenever you are supposed to add new face, add new thickness, you have to use the Alt key. So now I'm selecting only these two face, edit form, using Alt key. I'm reducing scale of the only these two face, again 0.8. Okay. Now I'm going to use the arrow to push this inside. This is the air ventilator. So I'm just using Alt key. I will just push it inside to give some little more depth. So that is 3 millimeter. Okay. Now the next step, I need to create the depth here. So same procedure, nothing much. I'm selecting all these four face, right click, edit form. Using Alt key, I'm going to reduce the scale. Okay, that is 0.8 again. And I'm using Alt key to push it inside to create a depth. So this I'm going to give it as -10. So we started with a simple rectangle box. Now we have created this shape. Okay. And after creating the shape, so next step, I need to create the head support. So I can create the head support, but before that, if I want to create this depth here, so this will be separate portion, right? This will be leather or some fabric material, which I'm going to use here. So I'm double clicking on this whole edge. Okay. Edit form. So I need to add the new face. Okay. Using Alt key, I'm going to stretch this portion. So maybe I can scale this to create the depth. Let me try to create the scale. Okay. So it is not allowing me. Uh, Let me just try. Okay. So it is not allowing me, but what I can do is I will just create a new face here. So modify, insert edge. I will create a new edge here with a single side. So edge depth is 0.1, the scale. So let me just select OK. Now you can see the new edge available here. Selecting all these new edges. Okay. So you can select one or two edge, then you can press the Control P button. So Control P, so that software will select the entire loop. Then after that, I'm going to use edit form and using Alt key. Okay. Using Alt key, I'm going to reduce this scale. Okay. Not much. I'm just reducing a little bit. That is 0.9. You can see the depth here. Okay. I can just select OK here. This is the kind of groove where you are going to fix your a leather a cover for your headphone, right? And then after that, the next step, what I'm going to do, the head support. I'm going to select this top two face to create the head support that uh, exactly the arc shape. So I've selected this two face, edit form, using Alt key because I need to add thickness. So I'm using Alt key. I'm going to stretch it towards top, distance 20. So again using Alt key, again I will stretch it towards top, distance another 20, that is total 40, right? And here you can notice there is a chances that software might find overlap between these two faces. Can you notice here? So there shouldn't be any overlap between the face. If there is an overlap, software will not allow you to exit from freeform. Because if the two faces are intersecting, we won't be able to add thickness in future. If I'm not able to add thickness, obviously I cannot 3D print or manufacture, right? So that's the reason software will not allow you to exit from freeform until unless if there is a completely open space between the faces. So now what I'm going to do, I will select this entire edge. So to ensure there is no overlap here, so selecting this entire loop, edge loop, edit form, I am just pulling this outside. The distance is minus pi. So now you can see there is enough space between these two faces. There won't be any overlap. Okay. And at the same time, this top two face, what you can see, selecting this two face on the top, edit form, I will rotate this two face towards the left side because I need to have a second instance of this headphone which I'm going to connect. So I'm going to rotate this two face towards left. The angle is 30-degree. Okay, so that the direction of this particular head support should go towards left side. So one side of the same instance I have created, and I need the same thing opposite side. I hope you know most of you have already used some different software, or so to get the same thing on the opposite side, we need to mirror this, right? To mirror, I need to have a reference. So inside the construct offset plane, I'm going to create offset plane of this parallel plane. So which is, I give it as 60, 60. Okay. And now I will select inside the symmetry mirror duplicate. So this is the component I want to mirror. Okay. And mirror plane is this one. Right. I can turn off the construction plane now. So visibility. Now I need to join these two. I cannot stretch, right? Even if I stretch this side, and at some point, those two have to exactly align. So as I mentioned, if there's an overlap between face, software will not allow you to exit from freeform. So here, the best way to join those two, you can find an option here, bridge. Bridge between these two face and these two face. And here inside the bridge also, you have an option, how many number of faces required while connecting these two. By default, it is 3. Okay. If there is any curve, you can create an arc. You can ask software to follow that curve. So I don't have any curve here, but what I can do, I can just select bridge between these two face. Now you can notice software has connected these two. Almost done, except our head is not in a square shape, right? So it is supposed to be round. So to make it round, I can select this whole thing. So selection window. So I'm just selecting this whole thing. Edit form. I can just stretch this towards top. That's it. So minor things. So if you want to fine tune, for example, this whole head shape, this you want to make it smaller compared to this. So you can select this and you can reduce this like this. You can reduce the scale. So this also I can reduce the scale. So minor thing you can edit, that is not a problem, right? So after editing all this, once you have finished, you can select finish form. Once after you select finish form, you can notice software will convert the same thing into a solid model. In the previous exercises we have seen, inside modify, I can select appearance. I can apply nice material here. So in this case, I can apply this red color to the headphone. Okay. And then when you go to appearance, by default, it will apply whatever the color to the entire body. And the next thing, you have faces. You can select face. So you have all the different material available, but not in my system because so I have some limitation in terms of accessibility because so I work with this some of the R&D things, so I won't be able to download the material. So what you can do is, for example, like other, I might select. I have some rubber material also available, but in your case, you can go to leather. You can apply cloth and fabric material. So in my case, it is not available, so nothing to worry. So I'm just going to use some. uh, miscellaneous material, foam. Let me just apply foam here. Okay, so and I want this side. You can actually apply the fabric material that might looks very better. In my case, it is not available, so I'm just trying to use whatever is available. And even the rubber material, I think, should be available here. Rubber available. So I'm just going to apply rubber to all this side face here. Okay. In your case, you can apply leather actually, which looks even better. So this way you can complete your design with the different appearance applying material. And then, so here is your headphone and the same thing. So try to practice on your computer. This is, and this, don't just stop it here, and try to fine tune this, try to edit at any point of time. If you want to uh, edit the free form, so again, as I mentioned in the previous lesson, you can just go back to the H3 any point of time. If I want to edit this free form, so you can notice here, you can just click on this free form, double click, it will take you back to the free form modeling. You can edit your free form. Once after editing, again, you can finish form. So it will go back to your 3D. Okay. So with this, I'm going to stop this series one, and hope this will help you to understand the technology better and try to practice. So then we can start with the series two, where you will learn some of the advanced tools within freeform, within 3D modeling, and within assembly. And also, like, we are going to explore more of different modules also. Okay. So thanks everyone.